Learn to act as if nothing bothers you. Learn to act as if nothing bothers you, because the moment you react emotionally, you hand your power away. Life will always test you through people, situations, delays, and disappointments. But your strength is not proven by how loudly you respond, it is proven by how calmly you remain. When you stop reacting to everything, you rise above it. You begin to understand that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every opinion deserves space in your mind. Acting unbothered is not pretending, it is choosing self, control over chaos, and peace over pointless conflict. Most people suffer because they allow external events to dictate their inner world. They let words, looks, and actions live rent free in their thoughts. But when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, you take control back. You realize that people's behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not your worth. You stop taking things personally and start observing instead of absorbing. This shift alone can change your entire life, because nothing can disturb someone who refuses to be disturbed. Silence becomes your strongest response. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself, defend your choices, or prove your value. The calmer you are, the more powerful you become. When others expect reactions and receive none, they lose influence over you. Your peace confuses those who thrive on drama, and your restraint earns respect from those who understand strength. You learn that your energy is sacred, and you stop wasting it on arguments that lead nowhere. Acting unbothered trains your mind to stay stable under pressure. While others panic, you think clearly. While others complain, you adapt. This emotional discipline makes you mentally unbreakable. Challenges still come, but they no longer shake your foundation. You move forward with quiet confidence, knowing that no setback has the authority to define you unless you allow it. Your calm becomes your identity, and your presence alone speaks volumes. In the end, peace is a daily decision. Acting as if nothing bothers you is not about suppressing feelings, it is about mastering them. You feel deeply, but you respond wisely. You protect your inner world at all costs, because you know that a calm mind is a powerful mind. When you master this way of being, life stops controlling you, and you finally begin to control how you move through life. Email detachment is not weakness, its master. Emotional detachment is one of the most misunderstood strengths in the world. Many people confuse it with coldness, avoidance, or a lack of feeling, but true emotional detachment is none of these. It is not about shutting down your heart or pretending you don't care. It is about caring without losing control of yourself. It is the ability to feel deeply while remaining steady, to experience emotions without being ruled by them. Emotional detachment is mastery because it allows you to stay grounded no matter what life throws at you. From a young age, most people are conditioned to react emotionally. When something hurts, they lash out. When they feel ignored, they overexplain. When they feel threatened, they become defensive. Over time, this pattern turns emotions into automatic responses instead of conscious experiences. Emotional detachment breaks this cycle. It creates a pause between what happens and how you respond. In that pause, you gain power. You stop being a slave to impulse and start becoming the master of your inner world. One of the biggest reasons emotional detachment is seen as weakness is because society glorifies emotional reactions. Loud anger is mistaken for strength. Dramatic expression is confused with authenticity. Constant emotional display is praised as being real. But true strength is not loud. It is quiet, controlled, and intentional. Emotional detachment teaches you that you do not need to react to prove that you feel. You do not need to explain to validate your emotions. You can acknowledge what you feel internally without letting it disrupt your peace externally. Emotionally detached people are often the calmest in the room, especially during chaos. While others panic, complain, or blame, they observe. This does not mean they are unaffected, it means they are disciplined. They understand that reacting emotionally rarely improves a situation. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, they choose clarity over chaos. This ability to stay composed gives them an advantage in relationships, careers, and personal growth. People naturally trust and respect those who remain steady when things fall apart. Detachment also protects your energy. Not everything deserves an emotional response. Not every comment deserves a reaction. Not every situation deserves your attention. When you are emotionally attached to everything, you are constantly drained. Your mind is always busy replaying conversations, worrying about opinions, and carrying emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. Emotional detachment allows you to choose where your energy goes. You stop giving emotional access to people and situations that do not serve your growth. Another powerful aspect of emotional detachment is that it frees you from external validation. When you are emotionally attached, your mood depends on how others treat you. Praise lifts you too high, criticism breaks you too deeply, and rejection feels personal. Detachment shifts your sense of worth inward. You no longer need constant approval to feel secure. You know who you are, and that self awareness becomes your anchor. External opinions lose their grip on you because your identity is no longer negotiable. In relationships, emotional detachment brings balance. It does not mean you love less, it means you love wisely. You stop trying to control people, fix them, or depend on them for emotional stability. You allow others to be who they are without losing yourself in the process. This creates healthier connections because they are built on choice, not neediness. When you are emotionally detached, you can walk away from disrespect without guilt and stay committed without fear. You love with strength, not desperation. Emotional detachment also sharpens decision making. When emotions take over, logic often disappears. People make impulsive choices when angry, fearful, or overly excited. Detachment gives you the ability to step back and see situations clearly. You can assess facts instead of reacting to feelings. This clarity leads to better outcomes because your actions are guided by intention rather than emotion. Over time, this habit builds trust in yourself. You know that even in difficult moments, you will choose wisely. It is important to understand that emotional detachment is a skill, not a personality trait. It is developed through self awareness, practice, and discipline. You begin by noticing your triggers. What makes you react quickly? What situations drain you emotionally? Awareness is the first step to mastery. Once you recognize these patterns, you can pause before reacting. That pause may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is where growth happens. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you strengthen your emotional control. Detachment also teaches you acceptance. You stop fighting reality and start working with it. You accept that people will disappoint you, plans will change, and not everything will go your way. Instead of resisting these truths emotionally, you adapt. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means understanding what you cannot control and focusing on what you can. This mindset reduces suffering because much of emotional pain comes from resisting what already is. Over time, emotional detachment transforms your identity. You become someone who is not easily shaken. Problems still arise, but they do not define you. Criticism may come, but it does not destroy you. Praise may arrive, but it does not inflate you. You remain centered. This inner stability becomes your signature. People notice it. They feel your presence before you speak because calm energy is powerful energy. In the end, emotional detachment is not about becoming distant from life. It is about becoming deeply rooted within yourself. It is the understanding that your peace is more valuable than temporary reactions, that your energy is limited and should be invested wisely. When you master emotional detachment, you stop being controlled by circumstances and start moving through life with clarity, strength, and quiet confidence. That is not weakness, that is mastery. Silencio es estiao respuesta en explainao. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that rewards noise, opinions, and constant reactions. Many people believe that staying silent means you have lost, that you have nothing to say, or that you are afraid to defend yourself. In reality, silence is one of the most powerful responses available to a person who has mastered self control. It is not the absence of strength, it is the presence of it. Silence is a deliberate choice, a strategic pause that protects your energy and elevates your position above unnecessary conflict. Most conflicts escalate because of words. One comment leads to another, explanations turn into arguments, and arguments turn into emotional chaos. People feel compelled to justify themselves, to clarify their intentions, and to prove that they are right. But explanation rarely brings peace. Often, it invites more misunderstanding. Silence interrupts this cycle. When you choose not to explain yourself to someone who has already decided how they see you, you reclaim your power. You stop feeding situations that thrive on reaction. There is a deep confidence in knowing that you do not need to be understood by everyone. Silence reflects self trust. It says, without words, I know who I am. When your sense of worth is internal, you do not chase validation through explanations. You understand that some people are not looking for clarity, they are looking for control, attention, or an emotional response. Silence denies them that access. It draws a boundary that words often fail to create. Silence also forces others to confront themselves. When you stop responding emotionally, the focus shifts away from you and onto them. Your calm becomes a mirror, reflecting their intentions and behavior back to them. This can be uncomfortable for those who rely on reactions to feel powerful. In many cases, silence communicates more than words ever could. It signals maturity, self-respect, and emotional intelligence without the need for justification. In relationships, silence used wisely can restore balance. Constant explaining can create a dynamic where one person feels entitled to your emotional labor. You end up over communicating, apologizing unnecessarily, or defending choices that do not require permission. Silence breaks this pattern. It teaches others how to treat you by showing them what you will no longer entertain. This does not mean avoiding communication. It means refusing to engage in conversations that disrespect your boundaries or drain your energy. Silence is especially powerful when dealing with criticism. Not all criticism deserves a response. Some feedback is constructive and worth considering, but much of it is rooted in projection, insecurity, or misunderstanding. When you explain yourself to every critic, you give them authority over your emotions. Silence allows you to filter what matters and discard what does not. You listen selectively, respond intentionally, and remain centered in your own truth. One of the hardest aspects of choosing silence is resisting the urge to defend your image. The ego wants to be seen as right, fair, or misunderstood. But true strength comes from releasing the need to control how others perceive you. Silence is a declaration that your peace is more important than being right in someone else's eyes. Over time, this mindset builds emotional resilience. You become less reactive and more intentional in how you engage with the world. Silence also sharpens your awareness. When you stop talking, you start observing. You notice patterns, intentions, and truths that are often hidden beneath words. You learn more about people by watching how they respond to your silence than by listening to what they say. This awareness protects you from manipulation and helps you navigate relationships with clarity. Silence becomes a tool for understanding rather than a sign of withdrawal. In professional environments, silence can be a strategic advantage. People who speak less but with intention are often taken more seriously. They are seen as thoughtful, composed, and confident. Silence gives you time to think before you speak, to choose words that align with your goals rather than your emotions. It prevents impulsive statements that you may later regret. In this way, silence supports long-term success by keeping you aligned with purpose instead of momentary emotion. It is important to recognize that silence is not suppression. You are not ignoring your feelings or avoiding necessary conversations. You are simply choosing the right time, place, and person for your words. Silence is about discernment. You speak when it adds value, not when emotion demands release. This discipline strengthens your emotional control and deepens your self-respect. As you practice silence, you will notice a shift in how people interact with you. Some will respect you more, sensing your boundaries and inner stability. Others may feel uncomfortable or threatened because they no longer have access to your reactions. This is not a loss, it is clarity. Silence reveals who respects your peace and who benefits from your emotional engagement. Ultimately, silence is a form of self-leadership. It is choosing wisdom over impulse and dignity over drama. It allows you to move through life without being pulled into every conflict or opinion. When you master silence, you stop explaining yourself to those who are not committed to understanding you. You conserve your energy, protect your peace, and communicate strength without saying a word. Silence, when chosen consciously, is not passive. It is powerful. Kandol I wild and tuta word lospoa. Most people spend their lives trying to control the outside world. They try to control how others behave, how situations unfold, and how life responds to their efforts. When things don't go as planned, frustration, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion follow. The truth is simple yet profound. You were never meant to control the outer world. The real power lies in mastering your inner world. When you do, the outer world automatically loses its ability to disturb, intimidate, or define you. Your inner world is made up of your thoughts, beliefs, emotional patterns, and self-talk. This invisible space determines how you experience everything. Two people can face the same situation and walk away with completely different outcomes, not because the situation was different, but because their inner responses were different. When you lack control over your inner world, you become reactive. Every word, delay, rejection, or challenge pulls you off balance. But when your inner world is stable, External events lose their emotional grip. One of the greatest illusions is believing that external circumstances create your emotions. In reality, your interpretation does. Events are neutral until your mind assigns meaning to them. A delayed response becomes rejection. A mistake becomes failure. A criticism becomes a personal attack. When you take control of your inner world, you begin to question these interpretations. You pause and ask yourself what is truly happening, instead of immediately reacting to what you think is happening. This pause alone can save you from countless emotional spirals. Controlling your inner world does not mean suppressing emotions, it means understanding them. Emotions are signals, not commands. They inform you, but they do not get to decide your actions. When you master this distinction, you stop being driven by anger, fear, or insecurity. You feel them, acknowledge them, and then choose your response consciously. This ability creates emotional maturity, which is one of the most powerful traits a person can develop. As your inner control strengthens, you stop taking things personally. You realize that most people are acting from their own wounds, fears, and conditioning. Their words and actions say more about them than about you. This realization frees you from emotional attachment to others' behavior. You no longer waste energy trying to change people or prove yourself. Instead, you conserve your strength for growth, focus, and purpose. Another shift that occurs when you master your inner world is the decline of fear. Fear thrives in an uncontrolled mind, fueled by imagination and uncertainty. When your thoughts are disciplined, fear loses its power. You learn to observe fear without obeying it. You take action despite discomfort, knowing that your inner stability will support you no matter the outcome. This courage is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet confidence rooted in self-trust. Your inner world also determines how long emotional pain lasts. Pain may be unavoidable, but suffering is optional. Suffering is created when the mind replays events, resists reality, or attaches meaning that keeps wounds open. When you control your inner dialogue, you shorten the lifespan of pain. You process emotions instead of dwelling in them. You accept what happened and redirect your energy toward what comes next. This ability allows you to recover faster and move forward stronger. When your inner world is disciplined, comparison fades. You stop measuring your life against others' timelines, achievements, or appearances. Comparison is a form of inner chaos that steals peace and creates dissatisfaction. Inner control brings self-awareness. You know your path, your pace, and your purpose. External success or failure no longer defines you. You remain focused on alignment rather than approval. This inner mastery also transforms how you handle uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and uncertainty often triggers anxiety. But when your inner world is grounded, uncertainty becomes manageable. You trust yourself to adapt, learn, and respond effectively. Instead of needing everything to be certain before you move with faith in your ability to handle whatever arises. This mindset creates resilience and reduces the need for control over external outcomes. Controlling your inner world also strengthens your presence. People can feel when someone is centered. Your calm becomes noticeable, especially in stressful situations. While others are overwhelmed, you remain composed. This presence creates influence without force. You don't need to dominate conversations or prove your worth. Your stability speaks for you. People naturally gravitate toward those who are internally anchored. The practice of inner control is built through daily habits. Mindful reflection, disciplined thinking, emotional awareness, and intentional responses shape your inner environment. Each time you choose calm over reaction, clarity over confusion, and purpose over impulse, you reinforce your inner authority. Over time, this becomes your default state. You no longer struggle to stay balanced, balance becomes who you are. Ultimately, when you control your inner world, the outer world loses its power to define your experience. Challenges still exist, but they no longer control you. Opinions still come, but they no longer shake you. Life continues to change, but you remain steady within it. This is true freedom, not the ability to control everything around you, but the strength to remain grounded no matter what surrounds you. There is a quiet strength in someone who remains calm when everything around them is trying to provoke a reaction. This strength is what unbothered energy truly is. It is not indifference, arrogance, or emotional coldness. It is inner stability. It is the ability to stay grounded when others are losing control, to move forward without being shaken by noise, opinions, or pressure. When you carry unbothered energy, You become mentally unbreakable because your peace is no longer dependent on external conditions. Most people underestimate how much mental energy they lose by being constantly reactive. They replay conversations, overthink situations, and carry emotional weight that was never meant to be carried. This constant mental noise weakens the mind. Unbothered energy cuts through that noise. It is the decision to stop giving emotional importance to things that do not contribute to your growth. When you make this decision consistently, your mind becomes clearer, sharper, and stronger. Being mentally unbreakable does not mean you are immune to pain. It means pain no longer controls your behavior. Life will challenge you with setbacks, criticism, rejection, and uncertainty. These experiences are unavoidable. What is avoidable is allowing them to destabilize your sense of self. Unbothered energy allows you to experience difficulty without letting it define you. You acknowledge what happens, learn from it, and move forward without emotional attachment to the outcome. One of the most powerful aspects of unbothered energy is emotional self-sufficiency. You stop relying on external validation to feel secure. Praise does not inflate you, and criticism does not destroy you. Your worth becomes internal. This emotional independence is what makes you mentally unbreakable. When your confidence comes from within, no one can take it from you. You become resilient not because life is easy, but because you are grounded. Unbothered energy also changes how you handle pressure. When others panic, rush, or react impulsively, you slow down. You think before you act. Pressure no longer forces you into poor decisions because your mind is not overwhelmed by emotion. This clarity under stress is a rare strength. It allows you to see options others miss and respond with intention instead of fear. Over time, this habit builds trust in your own judgment. Another important shift that comes with unbothered energy is the end of emotional entanglement. You stop absorbing other people's moods, expectations, and negativity. You realize that not everything requires your emotional involvement. This boundary protects your mental health. It allows you to remain compassionate without becoming overwhelmed. You can care without carrying. This balance is essential for long-term mental strength. People with unbothered energy are often misunderstood at first. Their calm may be mistaken for detachment or lack of interest. But over time, it becomes clear that this calm is intentional. It is the result of self-awareness and discipline. They do not seek attention through reactions or drama. Their presence is steady and their actions are consistent. This reliability earns respect and influence without force. Unbothered energy also strengthens your focus. When you are not emotionally distracted, you can direct your attention toward what truly matters. Goals become clearer, priorities become sharper, and progress becomes more consistent. You stop wasting time on unnecessary conflicts or emotional recovery. Your energy is invested in growth rather than reaction. This focus compounds over time, leading to meaningful results. Mental unbreakability is built through repetition. Each time you choose not to react, you reinforce your control. Each time you remain calm under pressure, you strengthen your resilience. These small moments add up. Over time, what once triggered you no longer has the same effect. Your mind adapts to stability. You begin to trust yourself in challenging situations because you have proven your ability to remain composed. Unbothered energy also changes how you experience failure. Instead of viewing failure as a personal flaw, you see it as feedback. You extract lessons without attaching shame or self-judgment. This mindset allows you to recover quickly and continue moving forward. Mental unbreakability is not about never failing. It is about never being destroyed by failure. Ultimately, unbothered energy is a lifestyle choice. It is choosing peace over provocation, clarity over chaos, and strength over ego. It is understanding that your mind is your most valuable asset and protecting it accordingly. When you cultivate this energy, you become mentally unbreakable, not because nothing affects you, but because nothing controls you. Your calm becomes your power, and your stability becomes your advantage in a world that thrives on reaction. Peace is not something you accidentally find one day when life becomes easier. It is not a reward that arrives after all problems are solved or all desires are fulfilled. Peace is a decision, a daily, intentional choice you make regardless of what is happening around you. Most people delay peace, believing they will feel calm once circumstances improve. But the truth is, circumstances are always changing. When you understand that peace must be chosen, not waited for, you reclaim control over your inner world. Every day presents countless opportunities to lose your peace. A careless comment, an unexpected delay, a disappointing outcome, or someone else's behavior can instantly pull you into frustration or stress. These moments test your awareness. You either react automatically or you pause and choose peace. This choice does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine. It means deciding that your inner stability is more valuable than emotional reactions that lead nowhere. Choosing peace requires responsibility. You stop blaming others for how you feel and start taking ownership of your emotional state. This shift is uncomfortable at first because it removes excuses. You realize that while you cannot control people or events, you can control your response to them. This realization is empowering. It transforms you from a victim of circumstances into a leader of your own experience. One of the biggest obstacles to peace is attachment to outcomes, expectations, and how things should be. When reality does not meet these expectations, disappointment arises. Choosing peace means releasing rigid expectations and embracing flexibility. You learn to accept what is happening without resistance. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means understanding that fighting reality only creates suffering. When you accept what is, you free your energy to focus on what you can do next. Peace is also protected by boundaries. You cannot choose peace while allowing constant emotional intrusion from others. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They determine what you allow into your mental and emotional space. Saying no, disengaging from unnecessary conflict, and limiting exposure to negativity are all acts of self-respect. Each boundary you set is a vote for your peace. Another daily choice involves where you place your attention. Your mind follows your focus. If you constantly focus on problems, comparisons, or past regrets, peace becomes impossible. Choosing peace means directing your attention intentionally. You focus on solutions instead of complaints, progress instead of perfection, and presence instead of worry. This mental discipline shapes your emotional experience more than external circumstances ever could. Choosing peace also means learning when to let go. Holding on to resentment, anger, or the need to be right keeps your mind trapped in the past. Letting go does not mean forgetting or excusing harm. It means releasing the emotional grip it has on you. Forgiveness, in this sense, is an act of self-liberation. You choose peace over carrying emotional weight that only drains you. Peace requires patience with yourself. You will not always choose correctly. There will be moments when you react, overthink, or lose balance. Choosing peace daily means returning to it again and again without self-judgment. Growth is not linear. What matters is your willingness to realign. Each time you come back to peace, you strengthen your ability to maintain it longer the next time. Your environment also influences your peace. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, and the routines you follow all shape your inner state. Choosing peace may require changing habits, limiting exposure to negativity, or stepping away from draining relationships. These choices may feel uncomfortable, but they are necessary. Peace often requires courage. The courage to prioritize your well-being over comfort or approval. Over time, choosing peace becomes a habit. What once required effort becomes natural. You begin to respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally. You stop internalizing chaos. Life still happens, but it no longer controls you. This consistency builds inner strength and clarity. You trust yourself to handle challenges without losing your center. Ultimately, peace is a commitment to yourself. It is the promise that no matter what happens, you will protect your inner world. It is the understanding that a calm mind is a powerful mind, and a peaceful heart is a resilient one. When you choose peace daily, you are not escaping life. You are mastering how you live it.